I'll always worry about you, Alton. I like worrying about you. That's the deal.
It's okay. I know why I'm here.
Okay, so we are talking about the movie Midnight Special, a 2016 mashup between E.T., Close Encounters of the Third Kind and Tomorrowland, written and directed by Jeff Nichols. It stars Michael Shannon, Joel Edgerton, Kirsten Dunst and Adam Driver. Now, the story here is quite slight, so I have to be fairly vague with my description because, to be fair, not a huge plot in this one. Basically, it's a road movie, it's a chase movie. This young lad called Alton has some kind of special abilities. We don't quite know why or what he can actually do. But basically, his kind of father is essentially on the run with him because he's pursued by the government who want this kid basically for their own kind of things, be it weaponising him or whatever. Also, he's on the run from this church group who think he's some kind of like saviour basically, and how they kind of have their own agenda for them. And it appears that these guys were with this church group for a while. And basically, it's a chase movie with Michael Shannon's playing the father. He's got his buddy played by Joel Edgerton, and his kind of the mother played by Kirsten Dunst. And they're kind of on the run with Alton. You know, there's a few misadventures that happen on the way. There's a few bumps in the road. Basically, Alton wants to get to a particular area where he feels like he's destined to be. As the film progresses, we basically find out more and more about what's the reasons for things, although you won't get all the answers here. So, like I said, I feel if you can imagine, if you've seen the film E.T., I know it's a little older, so younger viewers may not have watched that, but there's a scene in that, or a section of the film, where there's a kind of the government is chasing E.T., which is the kind of this alien little creature, and that section of the E.T. film is pretty much Midnight Special. And if you can kind of combine Elliot and E.T. into one character, that's pretty much Alton, really, to be honest with you. So that's, without kind of going into too many specifics and spoilers, that's pretty much a film. I do feel this is a rare occurrence where you are better off knowing more about this film than not. If you go into this film cold without not knowing anything about it, I feel you will find this film hard to follow. If you kind of read up about it, kind of get a basic idea about what's going on, I feel you'd be better served with this film, because it kind of starts straight away already on the run. There's no kind of build up to kind of bring you into these sort of characters. And it's obviously a creative choice, but I feel it hurts the film to some degree. The other main thing I would say, if we're talking about any negatives of this film does not tell you everything, and it has many unanswered questions. And on part of that's by design, but part of it I feel wasn't particularly good storytelling, if I'm honest. Some of the sort of the relationships between people, I don't feel is fleshed out enough. The relationships between the church and what's happened there, we just don't know. We don't know to the extent of what Alton can do. There's so many things here that you simply don't know, and you won't find out in this film. And it will give you some answers, but not all. That may satisfy some people, but you know, I felt it was almost part of a film. On the plus side, this is a beautifully shot film. It looks fantastic. There's some fantastic choices here, very artistic choices. I thought the acting was all very good. In particular, I have to say, you get a shout out to Jaden Liebenher, who plays Alton, the young lad, I thought was pretty decent. And obviously, you've got, you know, a good all-round cast here, and there are some quite well done special effects here, quite kind of ethereal special effects that I kind of liked. I have to say, because I feel the plot is quite slight, it kind of drags in places, but it doesn't. But on the other hand, it doesn't kind of give you all the answers that you maybe want. I don't expect it to give me all of the answers, but I felt it didn't do a good enough job setting up the film, to be honest. And that would have been my preference, to maybe still leave you with answers at the end of the film. Kind of, you don't quite know what's gone on. As probably the majority of characters do in this film, but I felt it should have done a better job in setting up the relationships between these people at the beginning of the film, because you're kind of going and thinking, who is this person? And don't understand their motivations and things like that. Suffice to say, this film has been critically, lauded. Basically, it's got some fairly good reviews here. I didn't think it was all that good. I certainly can see why it's got some of the praise, but personally, it left me feeling a little cold, to be honest with you. I don't think it's certainly not any type of modern version of E.T. I don't think it's anywhere near that sort of kind of like level of filmmaking. It's an interesting film. I'm glad I saw it, but to be honest with you, it didn't leave much of a mark with me. So I am going to give this film a 5.5 out of 10. I know that's probably going to be very unpopular, but it's an okay film. But I didn't think it was anything special, and I felt it could have done with some areas of development, and kind of could have shortened other bits that kind of dragged on and seemed to go on for a long time. Anyway, that's my review. What do you think of it? Leave a comment, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.